This button.
You've hit the big penis.
Yeah, yeah.
My
Big
ladies and
penis
gentlemen
button.
of the Senate,
Hello. Welcome to.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yeah,
Mr. Vice President of the Senate.
yeah.
It has come to my attention we have now pressed the big penis button.
Yeah, it has happened. The big penis button has in fact been pressed. I have the penile football right next. Why the fuck do they call it the nuclear football? I've never understood. Like, it's not shaped like like either a football or a hand egg. It's just a suitcase. Like, what the fuck? Why is it the nuclear football?
What, like, like... Hold on, let me Google garbage real quick.
I could Google this myself, but I refuse to do it.
Because you don't have two separate monitors and you're lazy.
I totally do have separate monitors. I'm just lazy.
Doubts.
And I don't want to do it.
Big doubts.
That's the reason. I actually had a nightmare the other day that one of my monitors broke.
Oh no.
That's this is the Wallace and Gromit crossover I've always wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I even know what this is this guy is called Sephiroth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other guy is, the one that
Cloud.
I also don't know which of the two is Wallace and which of the two is Gromit.
Oh my fucking god. At least this you should know. This you should know. Otherwise I'm gonna fucking scream.
No, okay, so the problem is they both, like, usually when a character has a name, it suits the way that they look, but they both could look like they could have either name.
Yeah.
It's like...
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
So Gromit is the dog. Wallace is the human, obviously.
Yeah. See, it could have been the other way around.
I mean, fair enough assumption, but
yeah,
still, you're fucking tired.
I do wonder if he's like if Wallace is like a white girl, and he fucks the dog.
Nah. He treats him like a slave, though.
Yeah. Well, case in point.
But just because you're treating someone like a slave... Just because you're treating someone like a slave doesn't necessarily mean you're a sexual slave. Come on.
But it could happen. It could.
It could. But what are the likelihoods?
I have already talked to Takashi about this. I'm very happy that like this City of Mist people are like retweeting my video and sharing it on their own channel. But they have definitely not vetted me beforehand.
Oh yeah, because you're going to do a video on landlords, aren't you?
Yeah, when the fucking landlord is not a job video comes out, what the fuck? And I don't know if I should like reach out to them and say, my dudes, you should be careful. You don't want the fucking FBI to...
yes, the FBI going after Germans.
Yeah.
Truly.
I'm a fucking socialist.
We have peaked.
Dude, I still haven't watched that video you did about City of Mist. I've got it in one of my tabs.
That's a very good place to have it. I honestly, one of the main reasons I did do it, aside from the fact that I really love City of Mist and I think it's genius, I really thought I had a cool idea for a thumbnail. So yeah, that's the thing. And I've actually I've been getting better at doing thumbnails. Because I got some tips by the bigger YouTuber than I am. Who is very cool, but who shall at this stage remain nameless. For no reason. He hasn't asked me to like keep it secret, but you have to like fucking
PewDiePie,
stop.
right?
see the difference between like shit like these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the other one? I just had it. Come on, computer. Like these look terrible. Let's be honest. They suck. Like especially if you consider that they're going to be tiny and that you're barely going to be able to see them. But now these are much better. These are so much better. And a big part of how I was able to do these is using like recoloring AIs. Because they have those now and they're pretty easy to use.
Nice.
So I can create different color palettes. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say. There's nothing
Yeah, I don't.
else going on in my life.
Same here. Yeah. It's just I'm honestly just kind of slowly losing it.
Yeah, I feel
Over
that.
just the entire pandemic. It's like PMs aren't doing anything and aren't being held accountable. Well, supposedly they are, but I genuinely think they're not going to be held accountable.
Oh, the I saw this in the German news. The
Yeah,
party that was held at
yup, yup,
number 10.
yup. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, and look, I I I know I'm gonna sound a bit hypocritical when I say this, but like I'm going out with the entirety of my team on the 14th for like a little Christmas celebration with the team because I think it's the last week we all work together. Or no, before last week, but we want to have some time to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
As a team.
Yeah.
And so basically, yeah, it sounds a bit hypocritical when you say, well, why the fuck did they get to do it, but then I get to do the same?
But it's a completely legitimate like argument though. You can't go ahead and say, "Oh, everyone needs to not do shit except us the powerful who still get to do
Yeah.
shit." It's bad enough
And
that rich people like billionaires and shit can hire some fucking mansion in the mountains and then hang out with their families because they can all they can just take 2 weeks off work and fucking isolate. So they
Yeah.
can then move their offices to some big ass fucking mansions in the Highlands.
yeah.
But this fucking just being in part of the halls of power, like no, fuck you. I'm
Fuck
going
off.
to have gay sex in public.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
it's
take
just
on
I'm
it.
slowly kind of losing it. It's difficult for me to travel the country or just to different countries, really.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, but that's
It,
also
it,
Brexit.
well, yeah, but it's a lot more difficult, to
Yeah.
be honest, with this entire fucking pandemic. I'm
Yeah,
just
that
kind of
is
slowly
the
fucking
case.
losing it, and
Are the travel bans to South Africa still on?
yes, one of my
That's
neighbors went there. So,
unfathomably stupid.
yes. So, hang on. The thing is, so one of my neighbors has gone down there because her daughter has been stuck in South Africa since pandemic began, basically.
Oh,
Ugh.
damn.
And that was like I think a month ago before the new Omicron variants, and is basically stuck there for like I think one more month. So she's coming back late
Fuck me.
January. Yeah, so I kind of feel bad for her, but at the same time, huh?
Yeah, let me show you all something that is amazing.
I'm going to scream and kill you, Burger.
Well, no,
No
but
fucking
this
joke.
isn't ketchup, dude. This is jelly, and there's peanut butter,
No, but still,
and it's a fucking banana.
I'm gonna fucking murder you. I'm gonna fucking murder you. I'm gonna fucking murder you,
You
motherfucker.
ruined
That's not
it.
how you do a fucking hot dog. The fuck is wrong with you
Yeah,
people?
it's not a hot dog. It's a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
This is
I don't
creative
fucking care.
use.
This is a fucking hot dog, but you usually use it to make fucking hot dogs. What the fuck is wrong with you
Isn't
people?
the hot dog the sausage though?
It could be.
I
Yes.
I don't know because in Germany it's the whole package, right? But I know that in in
How do you
American
say it in German? Hot dog,
hot dog.
hot
Yeah,
dog,
it's the German. It's just the English word hot dog. It's an English
weak.
dish. Well, an English dish, an American dish. It's like we could, fish and chips. We just call it fish and chips. Ironically,
chip.
just the fish portion of fish and chips is buckfish, because that's a German thing too.
Damn.
I mean, breading and frying a fish is not really all that innovative. I suppose it also isn't all that innovative to like add like fucking some fries to it, but it's the
Yeah.
vinegar that really makes it stand out.
No, that's fair. Oh, speaking of which, I had fish and chips yesterday,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, instead of getting regular chips, we go sweet potato chips. And don't get me wrong, sweet potatoes are nice. Sweet potato chips are peak
I
potato
haven't
chip,
had
right?
them.
Sweet potato chips are nice, but yeah.
But unfortunately, my mom didn't let them cook enough, so they came out all soggy like.
I
It
feel
was
like they
worse.
don't. You can't. It's sweet potato chips need a specific type of like dish that you eat with it. If you're already eating fish and chips, or like just a fucking pulled pork burger, well, actually they go well with a pulled pork burger. But most dishes that like people eat sweet potato fries with are like very unhealthy, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat these because they're healthy." It's like, no, just go with the ones that actually fit with the flavor profile, and don't
Yeah,
delude
no, I get
yourself
you.
into thinking that you're somehow healthy just because you're eating orange fries. Like,
So
Dude, I
I really
freaking
want to
hate that.
continue playing Yakuza, but unfortunately, that's a story-intense game, and having these conversations can be quite distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Though, to be fair, like I've spent literally like until 2 in the morning playing Yakuza yesterday.
hell yeah, dude.
It's just so addicting. It's so fun. I found it fun.
I
It's like,
miss that, honestly. I miss. Like, I haven't had that in a long time, where it's like you just want to play a fucking game. I haven't had it. I think I had it with like Stellaris in March for a few days, where I just wanted to play a fucking game. And then like
yeah, no, I get
staying
you.
up till 2 a.m. to continue playing it. That is fucking lit.
Yeah. There's a few I'd do that with.
Yeah.
I think the last one I did that with, yeah, did that with blah, 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 was Apex
Yeah.
Legends.
Yeah.
With cringe.
How about JPEG's Legend?
Or
Yeah, that's
Gay Sex Legends.
gay sex legends. Yes, and people wonder why we haven't had a single viewer for the entire stream. Gay sex legends.
Oh, gay sex legends.
What I always think about is also freaking XCOM 2.
Yeah. XCOM
Eh.
2's
Although-
lit, but I can't get it
Yeah.
to run properly because I have so many mods.
Yeah, that's why I don't play it more often, it's
Yeah.
because I cannot play it without mods.
Same with like Skyrim. Honestly, most
played
games
Skyrim.
that I want to get back into and that I don't get back into is because I would need to spend like 5 hours to
Dude.
install the mods.
Dude, same. Freaking RimWorld, XCOM,
Yeah.
like all of them's like too many mods. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, well, Mr. Arboreal Bastard, you don't show up in the according to the YouTube analytics, you don't exist. So, uh, chess
That's gonna be the
makes
harshest thing I've ever heard on someone burger.
yeah. That's the
You know,
YouTube analytics say you do. There's no one watching.
I kind of do want to play like freaking Enemy Unknown.
Oh, that
Enemy
one was a
Unknown.
classic.
Which
Yeah.
one is Enemy Unknown again?
The newer one, the newer Enemy Unknown. I mean,
Yeah, the one
Oh,
I've been
that one.
thinking about this. I've wanted to. I like the principle of XCOM, right? I really like the thing where you have like a roster of basically randomly generated characters that can like die. And I've been thinking about this kind of thing with like having a role playing game that does this, where you just you send your guys to like really dangerous missions. Maybe with like a not aliens because that one's
Oh, hey,
played out
Silver.
now.
Hi.
Hello, Silver.
Hi.
But like fucking
Hello.
killing. Oh, there's like an eldritch invasion or some shit. That would be very interesting. Where you wouldn't the characters wouldn't necessarily be very fleshed out, and as a player you'd have multiple characters because your characters are likely to die. But I think that would be very interesting from like an RPG perspective.
What are we talking about?
The ideas about XCOM, and also the fact that like we don't play games because we'd have to install mods for 5 hours.
it's not the
because-
installing mods that's really the issue. It's just making them all work together.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
what-
Such a pain.
For which games? Because not all games require mods.
They do though, all of them.
Yeah, the
Most
ones we were
games-
talking about. do.
Most games require mods. Like
I
the only
don't-
one I think doesn't require mods is Star Wars Republic Commando.
What Halo?
The one game in the world that doesn't require mods.
Yeah.
Well, what about Halo? Halo doesn't need mods ish.
Halo does.
Strange.
Halo sometimes need mods, but that's custom games.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
This is something that fascinates me because there's people who could just play the same game. Like my ex, she plays like at least like 3 times a week or something. I see her like this little Steam icon pop up and she's playing Skyrim. And she has played so much fucking Skyrim. I haven't thought about Skyrim as much as she's played it, and it's very fascinating.
I guess
she
it's
doesn't really use mods. Like she uses a few mods, I think.
that's for just like some like minor graphical stuff. It doesn't necessarily like affect maybe gameplay, like the actual like mechanics and shit. I think it's just like the combat loop is just interesting, and this is just a really pretty game by itself.
Of Skyrim.
Yes,
The combat loop of Skyrim is interesting.
I guess. I mean, like, that's
I-
imagine what most of the activity is looking for shit, looting shit, and then fighting shit. Also, Fusro dotting shit is
The
awesome.
I think-
combat in Skyrim is like drunk figure skating, dude.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
What?
I think Fallout 4 is better than Skyrim.
I think you should maybe die.
Well, I mean, mechanically though, like the gunplay, from my understanding, is a lot better than like 3 in New Vegas.
Well, I make that comparison because they're basically the same game, though.
Yeah, but shooting guns is better accomplished with the
Look,
No, with the way that like versus Skyrim. The problem that I've always had with all Fallout games is, and like this is most post-apocalyptic games, is they're just like fucking gray and very
depressing.
simple. Yeah, they're depressing. They get stale very quickly for me, like the aesthetics of them. Like especially the Fallout games. This is something that I like about New Vegas. I like the like orange desert aesthetic, but it gets boring for me as well at some point.
Yeah. I was never able to finish New Vegas.
Yeah, I had to play it in German because of this is the dumbest shit. So basically, Germany used to have this very strict youth protection shit, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of games companies would censor their own games. the violence in them, because you can have like full frontal nudity and they don't care, but violence, that really bumps it
Oh
up.
yeah, there's this famous example with what was it, Command and Conquer General, where for the German release they had to change everything from being humans to actual robots.
Yeah. And then in Fallout, they did like some minor adjustment. I think the body parts don't come off in New Vegas, but the big problem with that is that you can't, for some reason, Bethesda thought that you need to make sure that people who play the German version of the game cannot play it in the English language. It's literally not possible. You have to play it in German when you are in Germany. Like if you have the German version of the game, which is the only one that you can get on Steam too.
Why?
Because I don't know why they did that. It is unbelievably stupid.
Freaking laws and regulations are.
Cody,
This is
they
not
can't.
a part of German law. It's just the Bethesda thought that they need to do because the language is
Oh.
offensive or some shit.
Oh, so that's why you need mods.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is
yeah,
that is one
exactly.
of the many reasons why you need mods for everything all of the time without exception. Hello,
Yes.
Cody.
How's it going?
Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Hey,
You'll since yesterday, we have a new head of government.
Oh yeah, Angela Merkel got fucking yeeted from office. Who's the new
Well,
dude?
she didn't get yeeted from office. She just didn't run again.
Oh,
Who?
What?
Who got yeeted? Or who didn't
Your
run?
mom.
Nobody get yeeted. No,
Your mom.
No one got yeeted. There was no yeeting. I mean, her party was fucking booped out of power. I do love, this is my favorite thing, like, out of the whole Social Democratic Party, they found the one guy who is kind of corrupt to become chancellor.
what did he do that's corrupt? Did he take bribes? Did he fuck a dog?
No, okay, I probably, like, for American standards this isn't corrupt, but under his during his term as mayor of Hamburg, the Ministry of Finance of the city-state of Hamburg is its own state in Germany, failed to investigate, and this is the actual real name of this, the Cum-Ex affair, which is it's a tax fraud thing.
What is Cum-Ex?
It's a little bit complicated, but basically this is like Europe would give tax rebates to certain sort of businesses, and there was like a loophole in the law with which you could basically get free money out of European financial ministries because they didn't properly communicate, and his financial ministry didn't properly investigate shit. And also there was some other scandal where basically the problem was the same, where just the ministry under his control didn't do their job properly. And
sorry, you finish.
yeah, and that is basically how he's like the one guy that is somewhat corrupt, because there have been allegations that he knew about this.
So there's a weird loophole where you can like get like a bunch of get tax returns that you don't need, and his office didn't look into it.
Yeah, there was like some other stuff too, like some finance bullshit that the office didn't properly look into. Yeah, that is like the most corrupt that you get with like Social Democrats in Germany. Meanwhile, literally every single person in Merkel's party is corrupt.
You mean other than hiring Freikorps to assassin? Not counting that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a bit.
Yeah. But it's funny that the one guy who was kind of tainted is the one that ultimately became the new chancellor. So yeah, we have a new head of government now. We don't have a new head of state. That's still the same guy, but
bruh.
Yeah. Well, it's the president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Which is a different guy. Germany has a president who's the head of state.
Yeah, so what was Angela Merkel's position then?
She was the chancellor. So the chancellor is the most powerful person. They're the head of government, but the president is the head of state. And they're a bit like the Queen of England, except elected.
And the Prime Minister?
The chancellor's the prime minister, but
Okay.
yeah.
So the communicator between the parliament and the top head of state.
No, the top head of state has no power. Or rather, they don't have no power. It's a mostly ceremonial position. What they do, basically, what the president of Germany does is, first of all, like, not be involved in party politics. That is a very important thing. And what they sign every bill into law. Like, if the president says no, then no. But this is like, I don't think this has ever happened. It's more of like a safeguard mechanism.
Gotcha.
And the president's job is like to administer ceremonial duties. They don't have like any actual power, and the chancellor does not like is not accountable to them in any way.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is
Rita Repulsas and fucking Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, boys. This will be fun.
The what?
I'm to say the N-word.
That you always
Oof.
do, though. Oh, and they can
well.
dissolve parliament. That is something that the president can also do.
Cool. Rita Repulsa's in the Power Rangers fighting game now.
I have no idea what any of this means.
Did you not have Power Rangers in Germany?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Apparently
I know
not.
Power Rangers. Yes.
Rita Repulsa's
No,
in
but
the fighting
apparently
game.
not.
The witch with the pointy titties. Rita Repulsa.
Oh,
I do-
pointy titties.
I do love. Oh yeah, no, I think I know who you mean. Yeah.
I beg
fucking
your
loved
pardon?
Power Rangers as a kid, honestly.
Right? It was dope.
You,
Did you grow up with like the
understand which character is meant by the one with the pointy titties?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do know what that means.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean like they have like kind of perky tits. He means like they have like conical boobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured, but I
Very
still don't
distinctive.
know who that is.
It's
Hey, I'm
a
gonna
lady
send you a
with
picture.
conical
Okay.
boobs. I don't know how else to describe her.
It's like,
We're getting
even as a
the-
kid, I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on with this bitch? What's happening here?
we all wondered that, I think. Here. Oh yeah, where is she? Copy image. Yes.
How did XCOM 2 just get an update?
Excuse me, what?
XCOM
Alright,
2 just got a patch.
Yeah.
here she is. Here she is. Here she is.
Yeah, this is not her from the show, but yeah, this is definitely her.
It's action figures, the full body picture.
Isn't there like
The
a
only-
Santa fucking Power Ranger now? A Santa Claus Power Ranger?
What?
Yeah,
It's
I
true,
saw
yeah.
this on
No,
Yeah, I
I
saw
don't-
that on the server.
Oh hell yeah! Santa Claus better be a fucking Power Ranger.
So the
Tends-
update says an option to check for new 2K launcher updates in the application settings.
Oh my god, why does every freaking game have a launcher now?
Added troubleshooting to clear
Because-
cache by pressing
Cetor,
PC during
because they
uploading.
want everyone to know it's their game.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
No, it's more like they want everyone to have to look at all the other games they could buy.
Yeah, it's just let me have to install mods. For
The
Christmas.
only good thing that launchers have are when they let you configure like display settings before having to go
And
into the
mod
game.
packs, too.
Hello.
Man.
I mean, how many launchers do that? It's like
I
Skyrim?
usually get dedicated extra launchers to manage.
Yeah,
mods,
yeah.
So they don't.
yeah, but those are like, you know,
Yeah.
external.
Nexus shit.
What
Yeah.
Power Ranger series did you grow up with specifically? If you
I
can answer
have
that.
no idea.
No.
I did not see this iteration of the Power Rangers, but I really like this one that's been going around as a meme where like one of the villains fights against one of the Rangers and she goes like through the attributes of each one of the colors and then goes like, and what are you supposed to be? And the Ranger goes, I'm Scottish!
Is that something
yeah,
that actually
that-
happened?
That was
Yes.
RPM.
Based.
I'll wait. as RPM. It's great. It's one of the darker series.
I think that whatever Power Ranger season was the one where they had like an underwater base.
There
That
you go.
That was the
Pretty
one
No!
that I was watching as a kid.
Why does Google mess up the URLs linking to YouTube, its own freaking service?
Why does
Because
fucking
it's
Chrome
gay.
not work with any like,
Here it
Google
is.
application?
Yeah,
Here
that's
it
what
is.
I was about to post to. You can definitely watch this, by the way, Burger. It's a meme.
Yeah,
It's a longer clip, but you won't get like railed by Susan.
Brooding bad boy.
Oh my
Green
goodness,
is the
there's
clown and
macaroni
yellow.
and cheese for me.
She's the
Plus,
girl.
the
So what are you supposed to
relevant
be?
bit is like only 15 seconds ish.
I'm Scottish.
He's not quite the right shade of blue, though. A little bit more saturation, and he would have been perfect, dude.
I'm imagining you. Do you know that I think it's American Dad, or maybe Family Guy bit, where the cop at the traffic stop has like this gradient of skin colors?
Yeah, that's
You're doing that with Scottish people.
well, the color of the suit, dude. That's
I mean,
something
yes.
that you can do. You can change the color of the clothes that you wear.
I mean, you could also wear blackface.
That is
Oof.
true. That is actually true. That's a good point. You can change your skin color. This is my big conundrum. Is it worse to play a black character who's a thief or to play a white character with a blackface button?
What?
Yeah.
So I just found a
I
fucking.
mean, you're making a good point.
What I
Both.
did, I was making a character for City of Mist, and I chose like for my logos theme, I was like a burglar would be cool, a thief, and maybe for the mythos, this like Korean household goddess that protects houses, but her thing is that she's a snake and she can go invisible. So to have him like basically be able to summon this like snake skin, these like shadow scales, and become completely dark and obscure to be invisible in the darkness fits very well. But that is kind of blackface. Because
Temptation to use the word darky right now.
He can,
I'm back.
he can literally turn his skin black if it's like snake
yeah.
scales, but it's still. And so that really is the question. Like, if I make the character black, it's no longer racist, but then he's still like a thief.
Dude,
Wait, back up. Okay, no. This is like the
talking
fucking
of
direct.
blackface, right? I just found out that Scottish Power Ranger's name is Flynn McAllister.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
This feels racist somehow.
Yeah.
McAllister.
Yeah, Silver, you had a question.
So this character is a snake person that can
No,
transform.
he's a guy, but in City of Mist, characters have like powers of like stories, and this story is this Korean goddess of the household, the goddess of storage and wealth, and she is like a black snake.
No,
I'm
so
sorry.
this dude, it's like invoking her as like an avatar of her.
Well, he is her essentially.
Oh.
But yeah,
Did Power Rangers have a freaking end game?
Yeah, there was a
can't
huge
remember if
crossover
they
with
did.
Because they're
Megaforce.
looking like they're about
Super
to face
Megaforce.
up Thanos.
They faced up something. They faced up like fucking the Machine Empire from Zeo or something.
It's
not that
the
good.
bitch with the conical tits that go inward instead of out. That's
Her name is
and
Ini.
the final boss.
Her name is
Alright.
her name is Stacy McFace. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Stacy McFacey.
Inward.
AC McFacey.
Daisy McFacey is actually that feels like a Rick and Morty character.
It does actually.
Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty.
That would
And
be
Morty.
a cool City of Mist.
Fucking Morty. Look at me, Morty. Wubba lubba dub dub.
God,
I'm cranking 90s, Morty. I'm fucking
You're
cranking
blowing my
90s.
mind, Burger.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
City of Mist character whose myth is like Rick.
Yeah.
So he's just a dude who just has black scales on his body.
You can. Well, no, he can summon them. That's the thing.
Oh, but he's also a
And
thief.
they also
What?
they're not immediate. They're also they go above his clothes too. So
Oh, okay. So he's just like he has big old snake, like scale blades and shit. Cool.
yeah. And also they're more like made out of
What?
shadow than they are black, but it's the
They-
same principle.
Make
Take a look at these old MatPat tweets.
you can
What
It did
the
not age well.
fuck?
Pat tweets. My 2 future victims have seriously been in my middle of nowhere. Oh god, what happened with him this time? Did he get outed for being a predator? Or are they just really just unfortunate tweets?
What the fuck, dude?
I should have your penis conquering hordes.
I'm really not sure if this is incredible autism or king shit.
Are
Turning
these actual tweets?
popping in
Apparently so.
What a fucking king,
hot
dude.
woman search may reflect the figure of hot
Oh,
woman
Jesus.
search.
Oh Jesus! Also, can we just love that May 29th tweet with the pic in it? How he looks
yeah.
like a complete dweeb.
He looks like
I
if
mean,
he looks like
he
if
is
Shaggy
kind
and
of
Velma was
fucking-
fused
he is
together.
with like two hot women in the desert.
Mhm.
I am so very
Oh,
confused.
Burger,
What
did
is
you see that image of George Martin surrounded by these black girls?
Excuse me, what?
who's George R. R. Martin?
Yeah,
Or-
wait a second.
Show me
I like
this
to add
picture.
that it is possible to kill someone with honor. It can be just to kill. But
Why
rape is
did
the
he
act of
tweet
stealing
this
dignity.
at Jim Sterling?
And just what? What?
Look at, there it is. Look at this, Burger.
I mean, in like the.
Oh Jesus!
What,
What
the
a
kid-
pimp.
Hell yeah.
What? There are no
dude.
black
So-
women that enjoy Game of Thrones?
This
you
is
fucking bigot.
like the fucking the white girl with the black guys fucking. Big.
Yeah, the one on the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally every
Well,
aspect
to
is
be fair-
reversed.
I'm so
Yeah.
very
He's
confused.
got like some mad puss skills.
Can I ask
Writing
something?
all-
It's incredible.
I have a question.
Yeah.
MatPat was fairly big back in 2012.
Yeah.
Did the culture of
Is MatPat
trying to
actually
cancel
still
and
big?
call out
In
people for
2012, no one gave a shit what you said on Twitter.
when the hell did the attitude of Twitter's user base shift so much? Like what happened?
2016,
Oh,
2015, 2016 is when the fucking the culture war bullshit really. When did Gamergate happen again?
That was like 2014,
That
2015.
is-
That was
it
like
was
the
before
beginning of the
16.
whole big. I
Yeah.
really do fucking love that Gamergate was the beginning of like this hot phase of the culture war. It's
to confirm,
my favorite
never about
shit.
ethics and journalism. The article about Depression Quest never existed. It was 4chan. It was people on 4chan wanted to fuck with
What?
Zoe Quinn and Nita
What?
Sarkeesian, right?
That's not
What? No. Okay, so
No.
what.
The
Why do
article
I have to talk about
about
Gamergate?
Depression
Why do I
Quest
have to-
didn't exist.
It did.
why
I
do
watched
have to-
anyone who
This
Studios-
feels like a 9/11 truther thing.
Yeah.
I watched the Innuendo Studios. They did the alt right playbook video series about it, and he explained is that like it was the ethics thing was a guise under it,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it was for a lot of people. It was just basically an excuse to drama bait about someone fucking
Yeah.
somebody.
Oh, yeah,
that's
and, like,
basically
There
what
was
it
actual. I mean, there still is. Like, it's at no point has
Right,
it been
but-
more obvious than right now that the games journalism is unfathomably corrupt.
Right, but it's just that the catalyst
Incestuous,
event for
one
it
would
was
say.
such a drama bait thing, and then it was hyper focused on that and not like other things that were.
Because
actually
hyper focused
important,
on like the bullshit
like
story
people
of Quinn
paying
and
for
Via.
reviews or like.
Oh,
like,
it wasn't a bullshit story. It was just the fact that they kept hanging on to the fact that, people
They never
had,
moved on from Zoe
people
Quinn.
had sex. Yes.
No, they
Okay.
did.
then-
This is the reason the narrative went that way is because the gaming press was trying to do damage control over the fact that oh shit, like it's becoming very obvious that we're incredibly corrupt. Let's just say this is a feminism thing, and these people are like Nazis, and that is the thing. The inciting, no, not the inciting incident, But that's the thing that really turned the tide on Gamergate and made
you
it into
remember-
this thing.
Do you remember when like in the wake of Gamergate, as a response to it, a bunch of games journalists teamed up and released on the same day articles
Yeah.
about how the label gamer
That's a
is dead?
Yeah, that was
Wasn't
Yeah,
that
it was
like
Gamer
about like how
articles.
the
So
concept?
What
those were
sort
basic-
of autistic response was that?
If I can
But
say, I
also-
can.
we're,
hold
we're
on.
not a cartel, and then you literally fucking
Yeah, that's pretty common in terms of like industry media.
yeah.
Wasn't like the main like thesis out there though that the core idea of what a gamer is, of like what a
They were
gamer
basically
is,
saying
which
the
is like a
demographic that is traditionally thought of as the gamer demographic, which is the straight white male demographic.
and they're like teens, so
is
like,
not
and
like the only demographic you need to pander to.
that isn't the
like-
prime audience of video games anymore.
That's the argument the articles make, actually.
Yeah.
Which is actually a good argument, but they did it in like a fucking mafia way.
Well, the problem is also that so the stats say, oh yeah, women actually play video games more than men, which is like, yeah, but it's like Farmville, which is obviously also a video game, but there's a difference between like someone who likes to play Farmville in their free time and like a sweaty WoW nerd who will spend unfathomable amounts of money on like void expansions that do nothing. Right? So it's a
So,
and
like,
it's
they're
also- it's a very
casual players,
disconnected- It's a very disconnected space culture.
I mean, there are definitely women who do that, and they are, and that
100%.
demographic is growing like a
Yeah.
lot.
And
Oh, yeah,
it's
there
like,
definitely
it
is.
It is. This is like not even to say that it's not difficult to be a woman in the gaming space, because it really can be, and especially back then. Although sometimes I feel like it's gotten like at least for a brief period of time, it got much worse because the games press were like using women, like the identity of women, as a shield for themselves to like deflect criticism.
Where a
And
lot
then
of
the
like news,
fucking
were like
incels, yeah.
We're like Kotaku and other like like tech news, gaming news platform, like sites like using progressiveness as a shield or like defense against like accusations of like bad conduct.
I mean, corporations do that
Yeah,
all the time. They use like
Yeah, fair.
inclusivity and
Alright.
diversity as like a way to do
Literally
that.
right
But, like,
now.
I'm so
They,
sick
but here's let
of
me be,
right
but let me be
wingers
entirely
online.
clear. Let me be entirely clear. 'Cause I think it's getting mixed up a lot. They were not wrong. Gamergate spaces, because I was in them at the time, were incredibly sexist.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh
fucking
yeah.
awful.
Oh yeah. That was always the thing that really pissed me off about it. I'm like, I agree about all of the ethics thing, but can you tone down the woman hate, dude? This is
Yeah.
the literal. You're playing into the narrative, you fucking
So-
idiot.
So a good amount of people thought, even though the Quinn story was questionable, use it as a jeffing on point that to call out bad conduct within games news sites. So okay, was there ever a Depression Quest review that was released at all,
Yeah,
or like
it was like a review on some like on like some.
Was it
thing that
by
came out,
the
like,
dude
Glowing
that
Wars
Zoe
about, like,
Quinn-
indie development? Yeah,
Was
that's
it-
the whole. That's the whole meme.
It
Was
has
it-
to be said, I'm pretty sure that the ex-boyfriend didn't write it, but one of his colleagues did, which obviously is still a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
still.
it should at least
oh,
be
a
listed as
colleague.
conflict.
Okay.
Yeah,
a colleague
so-
of the guy who Zoe Quinn hooked up with wrote the review, not
It's
him
like
himself.
it's not even like this is it's this hyper focus on the Zoe Quinn story. It's like it's who gives a shit. That's not what it's
Right.
about. It's just the gaming press wanted it to be about that, because then it also would be, even if you didn't buy into the thing, that it would be a one-off incident and not a systemic problem that has
was
over the years
essentially-
just gotten worse.
It
Alright.
was early on. It was basically about this isolated incident and people
Yeah.
talking about it, and then the Gamers Are Dead articles came around, and then it became this more like wider movement against like corruption in games journalism, and for a lot more about like this like stopping any sort of like progressive attitudes like growing inside of the gaming.
Because it was like,
Because-
it's it just more of it came to light because of it. Like people were paying attention to it more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Alright.
is that's how politics often works.
hmm
Yeah, but it's there's like if in 2021 you're still like talking about Gamergate like it's relevant,
Like us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said it because I think it's unbelievably hilarious that something that is so unbelievably unimportant is.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The other week, I participated in another creators like community streaming marathon.
So you fucking cheating on me?
Sorry,
It
Han.
would look like it.
And
Damn, dude.
I play. It was all retro games,
Yeah,
and I played Batman Returns for the SNES.
yeah.
And this
Nice.
clip happened during.
Okay, let me see this.
I was
This
so
is you?
fucking embarrassed.
Nice border for your Twitch.
Versus the Big Show Hell in a Cell. It was just for that one thing. Did you make some of the
Heck,
things up?
I have to. This is very quiet. I'm gonna have to turn everyone else down. Let me deafen myself real quick.
Oh yes, of course, The Rock. I could also point out, and who's that other actor who went from wrestling to acting? Bautista, as well. Who, by the way, was really good in Dune. Bautista? Did I just kill myself? No! To defend
Oh, hey,
myself.
Bord.
Kill
How's it
yourself.
going, buddy?
Core, you're alive.
Of course he's alive.
Oh,
Hello. I was
Hi.
watching a clip that was sent to me by Cecil for some reason.
mas que mais rápido.
Yeah, here's a,
In
I'm
my
gonna talk
defense.
about this. I'm gonna talk about this here on stream because nobody watches this stream anyway. But so tomorrow. And I already talked about this with Kashi earlier. Okay, so I'm watching. So tomorrow I'm going on Tim Hickson's stream, Hello Future Me stream, charity 24-hour charity stream, which obviously everyone should
Hell
watch,
yeah.
right? So one
Yeah.
of the facts about my life recently is that I've started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah. Really, and he is aware of this, and I fully expect that there will be a conversation about it, and I'm going to really point out that one of the most interesting aspects of season 2 that I found is generally in the show that it's not like a black and white show. It's not the Fire Nation is evil and the
You
Earth Nation is
watched
good.
2 seasons without telling me?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Burger? How could
And
you
the
betray
Burger,
us like
storylines
this?
that illustrated this the
What's up, man?
most was the whole situation in Basing Sea.
Ba Sing Zay.
In Basing
Ba.
Sea. Yeah. There was, and I really,
He's
I-
doing
the whole-
he's doing
the
he's
whole
doing
Basing
this
Sea
to piss us
storyline-
off.
The whole Basing Sea storyline, I found it really, really interesting because
my
it
God.
gave a lot of depth. to the
Okay, you keep.
If you say Basing Sea on this stream, I will somehow figure out a way to enter this voice chat and tear you a new one.
I will
That's how it's said as
not only
the
will I
Sing
do
Sing.
it, I will just I'm not sure yet if what I'm going to do is like pretend that that's how it is in the German version, or just say no, that's what I'm saying. Basing Sea. It sounds like a small town in Connecticut.
You shouldn't say it's from the German version, because then like everyone will be like, oh sorry
Yeah.
for
No, but that would be funnier.
Yeah.
nobody knows that you're bullshitting.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
that's why it's funny.
Okay.
Although the chat will freak out because he definitely will
Yes.
have some German people in there.
Okay. You know what? You say it on stream. This piss everybody off. That'd be great. So so backing up, you're going on stream with this guy. You're gonna talk about. You're probably gonna bring up Avatar. I think I've seen this guy somewhere before. Hello Future Me. I think he collaborated with Overly Sarcastic Productions once, but I forget which video.
They're also probably going to be on stream at some point. He is a
Yeah.
great fucking guy, by the way, and like
Cool.
it's for a good cause. It's for a domestic violence shelter.
Nice.
So that's why
Yes.
I fully support this. But
You have to
I,
beat it into
domestic
everybody
violence.
that domestic violence is bad.
I can't like
I
not
fully
have,
support domestic violence.
I can't be given this kind of platform and not like shamelessly exploit it to be a huge dick.
No, freaking
Today's
domestic
burger in a
violence.
nutshell.
We should be making it
yeah.
global
International.
violence.
This
Yeah,
will just give
international
it, This will
violence.
just give it a wider audience.
International violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to your next Harry Piotr joke
Yeah.
with
Oh,
Blue.
Blue and I had this bit about Harry Potter and the Communist Revolution.
Wait,
Or the music
you
revolution.
spoke with OSP Blue?
Yeah,
when?
we did.
When?
Yeah.
We
Where-
had it.
Yeah,
This was,
he's
last
done this before. Yeah.
wait, where can I find the video with you collaborating with over Sarcastic Productions?
I haven't. No, I
It's
wasn't
a
the collaboration.
24-hour
We were just
live
on the
stream.
same live stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
This,
link to the live stream. I want to see. It's going to be surreal seeing you and him
It's a
talk.
24-hour live stream, and I have no
Yeah.
idea when this was.
I know that it
Um,
happened on Easter last time.
No,
Yeah.
it was also at the early December.
Well,
I remember this because I was there.
It was on Hello
I
Features
remember-
Me channel, right?
Yeah.
I remember like watching it live as we were like going by train to my fiance's family to celebrate Easter.
Okay,
So-
well then, but that's not. But then you might have rewatched it because it was definitely in December.
I sent a super chat during the thing.
That's really strange because it was definitely in early December.
Oh, during the mermaid stream.
Yeah, Tim was also on the Mermaid stream, but that was in. I think the Mermaid stream was in July. I'm not sure.
Wait, who's Tim?
Yeah.
This Hello Future Me.
Oh, cool.
I just call him Tim.
Because we're tight like that.
We boys.
What would you describe your content as? Because I would describe you as like an education, like philosophy, politics
ADHD.
commentator channel.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
also do like,
That's
but you also
accurate.
like do videos about writing and story and like story analysis and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like
I
all
would
over the place.
describe Burger's channel as whatever Burger like suddenly developed an interest in that month.
I honestly though, I think this is something that's been like growing in my head that my channel is really just straight up an ADHD channel.
Yeah.
It's
I mean-
because I can't like I think about maybe I should like focus on like one specific kind of series or something, but then I know for a fact that I will just get tired of that series. And also this is something that I think that happens with channels that especially like politics channels, that they just because they need shit to talk about. There's only so many times you can talk about the same concepts, right? And so what they'll do is they'll just
That's
do
a freaking Sargon.
yeah, exactly. Then you just start talking about like fucking current events and going, oh, this is feminist media, and oh, this is gay. Oh, I fucking hate
Brexit
it.
means Brexit, innit?
What this person over here in Britain, he says Brexit don't mean Brexit, and it's fucking gay.
Oh,
Feminist media is gay. It's like it becomes this.
the mainstream
Bruh.
media.
Just fucking.
You gotta go the mainstream
That
media.
was a good run, dude. It just
I-
becomes
This is
No, this run
this
was
is the
shit. I
stream,
didn't
by the
even-
way.
I didn't even
Um,
fucking manage to go through the third stage.
Yeah, this is
Shit run.
Yeah, it was a very cool stream though. But yeah, it just becomes this thing where it's the same content over and over and over again, and they reach you. There comes a point where in order to make content and pay the bills, you like have to reach even systemically.
That's the perfect segue to what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because I recently saw a clip of Sargon's like in someone else's video where he called like Boris Johnson's government liberal.
Oh my god.
Like as in
yes,
like
technically.
what?
Big L-
No, he's not.
like-
He's not even a lib. He's a conservative. He's like a Tory.
Yeah.
right.
He's a Tory. He's a Tory
I meant,
fuckhead.
no, you misunderstand. I meant classical liberal.
Do you remember when Sargon like before even the UKIP arc,
Yeah.
when Sargon tried to start his own party.
Oh my god, did he do that? I don't remember this.
I mean, it never quite materialized,
Yeah.
but
I wonder
he
why.
like set things in motion to maybe eventually form the Liberalist Party.
Oh yes, I remember the
Liberalist.
Liberalists. It was a Facebook group.
Oh my god.
I think I'm still in that Facebook group though.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I joined it way back in the day, and then I think at some point I might have left it because I'm very rarely on Facebook.
Same.
And then I popped in, and it was just Nazi shit. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just.
Wow, I
gonna
wonder
fuck
why.
off. Maybe I won't continue being.
Burger
on
logs into
Why
his
does
LinkedIn.
this keep
Burger's gonna log into his
happening?
LinkedIn and see that he's like linked with the fucking Proud Boys or something next.
Oh, this is.
We're a
the-
chess club. They were a
the
chess club when I
Grand
first
Ca-
joined them.
I wonder where Berger would be on like this intellectual dark web, like the networking chart thing.
Yeah. I really
Burger-
don't know
wait,
because
What are you talking about? Burger Creek does meth with Nick Land, dude.
Yeah.
Didn't Transparency Tube like form you as a center right channel?
Yes, I remember this. This was ages ago though, but yeah, somebody fucking hit me up as a center right. That was fun, but
Got 'em.
they were like mislabeling.
You know what?
all
True
channels,
facts,
I think.
true statements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was a very flawed methodology. Basically, they just looked at how much of your commenting audience you share
Yeah.
with manually labeled channels.
Yeah, and even the manually labeled channels.
Honestly, that's kind of a shit That's kind of a shit metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it just meant that your audience was shitty.
Which is good though. I think that's a very good thing. Honestly, I like having far right people in my audience because, of course, I'm not going to get the hardliners.
Because we need the server lolcows, is what
Yeah,
you're
that
saying.
is yes.
That is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
He's
something that I really think
thinking-
is that there's a lot of people, especially on the far right, who are basically socialists. And this is hear me out on this, right? They just
Okay.
they realize that the system is fundamentally broken.
Oh yeah, we talked about this on the podcast.
And the only people that basically talk to them are like Nazis. And because the left is so incredibly hysterical about never ever talking to anyone who is even remotely right wing and immediately condemning them and cutting all ties and never possibly giving a platform to anyone who has ever at any point even thought the N-word. Like there's no overlap. There's such an extreme echo chambering, and I'm very in favor of like pushing leftist narratives to like crack that box a little bit, because even
So-
if I just get some of the right-wing bystanders to examine their own beliefs, I think that's a victory.
There's
Yes.
a culture of like I'm guessing like online left like political thinking of like ostracizing and
I'm
not
sorry,
associating.
real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I unironically just understood Among Us.
Yes.
Huh?
You
Oh my
understood
fucking
Among
God,
Us?
you've got to be joking.
So
Us.
there's like a
What were
so,
you
like,
confused about Among Us?
Among Us.
Nothing.
Yeah, you
Let,
need
let,
to
let him go.
explain.
Let him go now.
Chungus.
Oh, you just figured. Wait, did you literally just figure out what the title of the game meant in relation to the game?
No, I thought you said Among Us.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
I'm
sorry.
really confused.
Just go ahead with your point.
So, Burger, I need to mute myself and step away for a second. So just from what I picked up, there's a attitude in like online left culture of like ostracizing and not associating and demonizing people who are right wing, just which is the ideas should be rightfully demonized, but like basically just pushing away or not associating or like trying to, or ostracizing people with bad beliefs instead of trying to like convince them or of otherwise. Like
It's this, yeah. It's
That's
this
cringe.
is the big attitude that I've seen among a lot of like, especially here in Germany, a lot of like left wing people treat being a right winger like it's a virus or some shit. Like if like a right winger talks to you, then you become a right winger, and it's like that's not being exposed to right-wing ideas only does that if there's no left-wing ideas.
Imagine if that's how it worked, though.
Yeah.
People
I mean,
bet-
it is. This is the thing. This is why the propaganda model works, because they don't expose you to like left-wing shit.
Dude, like people don't understand that you can't get people to stop thinking this way just by leaving them alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So the
Infuriating.
argument normally is that you don't apply platforms to right-wing ideas, but you push back against them. So, like, you don't, like, prop up... Like, you don't, like, go on and be like, hey, you're a Nazi, come on my show and talk to me about it. Or hey, why don't you join this org and talk to all my friends about your Nazi ideas?
But
it's like...
But how else are you gonna, like, push back against it if you're not gonna have
You
people...
understand the ideas, you look at what's going on in society, you understand the ideas, but you don't allow them to propagate those ideas.
Yeah.
But this is about, like, I'm not talking about some, like, fucking ethical thing here. I'm just talking about the pragmatism of making it seem like you actually know what you're doing and that you yourself believe you are correct, right? Because what happens when basically all that you do is do debunking videos of right-wing ideas, which, yeah, sure, there will always be this assumption of you're straw man, you're not Iron Manning these ideas, even if that is exactly what's happening. This is why I very firmly believe that you need to have right-wing people on, and then like just
let them
really
embarrass
fucking
themselves.
just embarrass them. Yes.
Yeah.
Like the
I
thing
mean,
that
there's-
happened with when I don't know who it was who was on Charlie Kirk's show with the
Bosch.
dolphin fetus.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, you mean
What?
the thing with the dolphin fetus. Who was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
What?
was it about?
Okay, so
Dolphin fetus?
basically what happens is the guy, like, Charlie Kirk is like, oh yeah, birth begins at begins at conception, and they're like humans, and so the guy pulls out a picture of a fetus, and it's like, is this a human being to you? And Charlie Kirk said, yes, definitely. He's like, this is a dolphin fetus. Do you confuse human children and dolphins often?
Is this just like real, or is my brain melting already?
No, this
No,
is
that's-
something
yeah,
that happened. This is one of my favorite fucking clips. And you only get this kind of shit
amazing.
on right-wing shows, because right-wingers will invite left-wingers. And then be embarrassed by them.
And they're starting to learn that
Yeah.
that doesn't tend to end well for them.
Yeah.
That's freaking hilarious,
But this
though.
is
Holy
what I'm
cow.
saying. The left should play that advantage, because it always works out better for us.
Oh no, I agree that like a prominent right winger invites you onto a show to debate your ideas or something like that. Fucking do it, because that's just providing you a platform to do it. I'm saying don't prop up like a fucking 200 subscriber person who's just clout chasing to try and get a wider audience.
That's
Like,
true, but
don't,
that's
like-
not the thing that I'm talking about. So, I mean, I'm not talking about like a 200 subscriber person. I'm talking about like Tucker or some shit, because they
Yeah,
get
yeah, of course you debate Tucker Carlson.
Real
Or you would
quick,
just fucking embarrass him. Like you would just do something fucking stupid. Like honestly, that'd be what I do more likely.
Real
is,
quick.
like
I do think that it would be.
Oh
could
my
be rather
god, I
difficult
want to see
to,
Cody
like,
on Tucker
embarrass
Carlson so badly.
That'd be
Yes.
because I
speaking
mean,
of
like, his ideas are fucking dumb and all that, but it would probably be pretty difficult to catch him off guard because he has a lot of media training.
Who, Tucker Carlson?
I have a
He's
question.
been doing this a lot.
I have a question. Why the hell is modern news moved to being so editorial? Because I'm looking at a Young Turks video about the whole Charlie Kirk dolphin fetus
It's
situation.
privatized.
Anna Kasparian speaking in such a judgmental way of Kirk. Is that's not supposed to be
because
proper
it's a-
reporting though? She's
because
supposed to
they're
be presenting what happened
He's not a
neutrally, right?
He's not a news reporting channel. Their thing is political editorialism.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, they
what
are?
they're for.
Okay.
Yeah, they are
I thought they were like a straight up news channel with editorial stuff. Like I thought they were like
No,
left wing
I mean-
Fox News.
No. That being said, though, I mean, most mainstream news channels like Fox News and CNN all editorialize as well.
Yeah.
Why?
Uh,
Why?
I-
What is the
Because the purpose of media is not to inform, but to spin a narrative. At least like for
Okay,
the people,
so-
like
To answer
not
the question-
ethically, philosophically, but for the people who own all those channels, that's what the purpose.
So
The trend. No, I'm talking over people now. The trend is that back in the day, you had a lot more objective news reporting, but in order to fill time for the 24-hour news cycle to meet demands and trends and market analytics, they had to then start adding in like analytics and like editorializing about the news to fill those gaps.
Yeah, that seems about right. I mean, and also obviously, even back then, the newspaper owner had a certain power and was pushing often a certain narrative. Like, among the journalists, obviously, they're like, "Oh, we want to report the truth and all that." Except if you're like, most journalists these days. But that's not usually in the interest of the owner.
Okay, so what's like a modern news site that's like not as that does very little editorial. It tries to be like a balanced editorial because it seems like only independent YouTubers do that.
Maybe like is kind of the one I can think of.
Honestly, probably just press agencies.
Yeah,
because
not even like
Don't-
Reuters.
Yeah, like don't bother trying to look for that, because even if someone like says facts, doesn't editorialize or anything like that, they have specifically chosen what facts to report on and what facts to not report on.
Yes.
All right,
They've got their own bias.
I feel
It's
like,
just how mainstream media isn't reporting about the coal strikes in Alabama.
they're coal strikes in
Kellogg
Alabama.
strike.
Yeah, they've been going on
or
the
the
entire
Nabisco-
year.
Like all the multitude of strikes that are going on right now. Is
Oh,
very
come on.
underreported.
They the coal strikes in Alabama actually had a court limit their First Amendment rights. It's a huge deal that all the fucking free speech warriors are always on about. Like, no,
I know,
you
but the
cannot- you cannot
Kellogg's-
express your opinions in a public space.
I know, but there's a Kellogg strike going on. I didn't know there's a coal miner strike. How does the state government limit their freedom of speech?
It was a judge, not the state government.
How did the judge
that's
do
been
that?
going on for a while. Well, he said you cannot assemble in this location, even though that location is a public space, and it's
Gay.
basically the picket line. So you have to you can protest, but you have to protest somewhere where no one can see it.
I feel like there's
basically the way
What's
that
the
it is.
point?
Which
Did
is,
anyone,
which
like-
is maybe, which you could say is maybe good for the health of the protesters, because they've been like run over with trucks.
Oh shit!
But what's the point?
anti-unions.
Yeah, by thugs hired by the corporations.
But
Why the hell?
what's the
Why the
point
hell
of
is this being,
fired for
protesting
this
if you can't do it
conversation.
in public?
why the hell is this being reported on? What possible?
Because the
Because
people,
it doesn't make money for people.
the people who own all of these news companies have like it's no capitalist wants unions. It's just if you give coverage to this kind of thing, you make it look sympathetic. And if people in America get sympathetic to unions of all things, the entire propaganda model of the news no longer works.
Yeah, but they're
Because
like
the ruling
reporting on
class
Kellogg.
has class consciousness where the workers don't.
Wait, but like here's okay, but like I'm seeing coverage of the fucking Kellogg strikes. Why the hell is that being covered but not the coal miners?
Do you see coverage of the Kellogg strikes on CNN?
That's a good. Where did I see?
Or people on Twitter?
That's a good question. I'm gonna see what I saw. I think it was a New York Times like little mini doc I saw. I'm scrolling Reddit because I have a fucking terrible attention span. I'm scrolling up a minute. Give me a sec. I need to find this thing. But like,
Something that they will sometimes do with things that they can't avoid talking about, which sometimes audaciously, they still can. It's like basically what's going on is they will talk about some inane shit at some like hour that no one's watching, and then basically the guy who is reading the news will go, and also there's a conflict now, and that's basically all of the coverage that it gets.
also, okay. Actually, when I looked at it, wasn't New York Times or anything. It's a little. It's a union union organization called
Well.
More Perfect Union,
Yeah.
and this is not.
Wait, no. I'm pretty sure More Perfect Union is like the union part is in reference to the United States.
Okay. Oh. Let's
Maybe.
fucking,
Possibly.
no.
I'm
think
pretty
it's
sure
funny
that's
to
just
me.
in reference to like
Is
forming
that a
a more
United
perfect
States
union.
reference?
Yeah.
Is a what reference?
United States reference. But yeah, that is the propaganda model. It's not even like it's to not just like just indoctrinate people, but to just not present certain ideas and events. And even countries where you have like publicly funded broadcasters have this problem to some extent, although to a much lesser extent than the United States, for instance. The country where this is probably the biggest is Australia, because there basically most of the news is not just owned by one class of people with similar interests.
It is owned by
but one
Murdoch.
guy.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah,
Rupert
every
Murdoch.
single newspaper in the entire state of Queensland in Australia is owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then there is
You know who owns the Washington Post?
Rupert
Ew.
Murdoch?
Oh my god, Amazon.
One Jeffrey Bezos.
Oh yeah, actually he bought it. Yeah, but that's the exact kind of shit. And so the Washington Post is anti-union. It's like unions are bad, actually.
What the fuck is that?
of course they are.
We're fucked, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, what needs to happen?
No
Welcome to
doomerism
This is-
allowed.
This is why I say it's the most important thing is for leftists to reach out to everyone as much as they can, which is incredibly frustrating and difficult. But yeah, you have fucking, like, even among conservatives, like among Republicans, especially young Republicans, the idea of socialism is no longer viewed disfavorably by a significant portion of them. Because because like even with the propaganda model in place, they're like, well, actually, I kind of would like free healthcare. That would be pretty lit. And then they see Fox News going, oh, but this is socialism. And then they're like, well, I mean, maybe this socialism thing ain't so bad.
It's really funny when conservatives start recognizing problems that are arising from capitalism, because they will jump through about every other hoop to try and link it to something else.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say much earlier, actually.
The funny thing I saw
I keep seeing Berger said right wingers are almost there. Like one thing I notice is when you look at like the most far gone Nazi, they're almost there. They just say Jews instead of like capital owners.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
they
focus too much on
the
the
answer.
because the thing that they focus on, the thing that they have a problem with, is not the fact that there is an economic hierarchy in existence. The problem they have is the position that they have on that hierarchy.
I don't think maybe in like late stages, but I don't think this is how people get into that.
Ask a conservative that you meet whenever they're like having, whenever you see a conservative who's like having like conversations about like the corporations are evil or something like that. Ask them what they think about people on welfare. Ask them what they think about people who are like homeless.
No, but that's the thing. They just don't understand the issues. This is people. People get into this kind of shit is because they themselves feel like something is off, and then if the only narrative they're given is Nazi shit, well, of course they're gonna like realign their because it's almost like a conspiracy theory, because it's a lot more difficult to think of a problem as a systemic issue than to just put it on some like group
issue.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that you should like deconvert people who like have these like right-wing radical ideas, and you should try and bring them over to the left. The question is, though, by reaching out to people like that, how much do you do that before you start endangering people in your own movement who are marginalized communities?
Why
this is a
would
big
that
problem I'm
endanger
seeing
them,
right.
though? I don't understand how that would endanger them.
I'm explaining
Go
that.
ahead.
So if you reach out to for example, whenever you start, to reach out to people who like have more of like this to have more of like a like they're conservative, but maybe they're like mad at corporations or whatever, you broaden your message to sort of apply to them. You sort of put a lot of like social issues on the back burner in order to like appeal to them, to bring them over to your side. By doing that, though, you oftentimes alienate people who are in these marginalized communities who need that representation, because you're then it's like there's a big like meme going around about like patriotic socialism, right?
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious name, by the way. Where it's these people who entirely ignore like issues of like social issues in favor of economic issues. But by doing that, you end up getting a lot of people who kind of like lean towards like the Nazbol side, the people who are like really, really like, they think that like gayness is like bourgeois degeneracy. They think that like all that sort of shit. And when you have those people in these spaces, then you end up having it as a danger to these other people, because then you're not prioritizing their safety and their messaging. You're prioritizing the messaging of these right wingers who you're trying to appeal.
Well, I mean, actually, really, the people I'm actually trying to appeal to are the middle of society, the moderates. That's the people that I'm trying to go to, and they just happen to have like latent right-wing beliefs. I see what you mean, though. My simple answer to this is pipeline.
No, I agree.
I really expected you to go like, my simple answer to this is lick my balls.
Lick my balls.
Nice.
It's
No, yeah, I agree.
because that's the
Pipeline.
way the right wing does it. You don't just start out by watching fucking who's the guy who looks like a lesbian softball coach, but he's a Nazi.
What?
And not Kyle Kalinske, but
What? Do you mean Fuentes?
I think you mean Nick Fuentes.
no, the guy
Well,
he's homeless now or some shit. The guy who says to be white is to be a striver or some shit. Like a really hardcore Nazi, like who said like "Hail Victory" and shit.
Oh, what's his name? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Mark Vickerson?
The guy who got punched in the face. Everyone.
Yeah. But I mean, actually, Varg
Nazis for a
Vikernes
while.
is a good, like, you don't, as a moderate, see some shit by Varg Vikernes and go, oh, this is actually very based and red-pilled. It's like a pipeline that draws you to that specific point. And I think the left needs to become better at doing this. Because
I love pipes.
the thing that I feel is that the left does now is that anyone who tries to like establish a bridgehead to create like a pipeline to become leftist is immediately completely ousted and becomes a complete pariah, ostracized in every respect and regard from everything that could even be remotely considered leftist. Because that is
partially true. I do agree that there should be like spaces in terms of like to deconvert people as sort of like a pipeline. But to do that, it becomes difficult because those spaces. Hold on, how do I put this? Having those spaces, where there's a lot of people who are like in the process of like deconverting, where there's like shitlord, shitbag motherfuckers who like will say the N-word and they'll yell about
I'll say the
1350 and all that sort of shit. But they have like economic class issues that they care about, and they align more with the left on. Like, you need to have like a good way to get that to the next community without specifically endorsing the community that is saying all these awful things.
You're not going to get all of them.
No, of course not.
Hey guys, I'm the Bounce. Have a good night. Have a good day, everybody.
See you around.
Bye.
You're not going to get all of those. You might not even get a specific, like a big portion of them. And like again, the thing that I'm aiming for mostly is, of course, the moderates.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that is, of course, not. I see what you mean
With your gun.
With the. But here's another thing. I agree absolutely that marginalized communities have problems and all that, and that it might be uncomfortable for them to be exposed to these kinds of people, and it might even I don't actually think it's. I mean, maybe in some parts of the world it is, but not necessarily immediately dangerous for them. But I have to say that I feel like the humanity of the entire world, like the entire working class, is a little bit more important than the humanity of one tiny subset of the working class.
Okay, so I think that that's wrong, and I think there are historical examples to show why that's wrong. Because when you don't build solidarity in the working class, you exclude marginalized communities.
This
It
entire,
breaks up.
I'm sorry, real quick, sorry, Cody. This entire conversation is such a lefty meme.
It really is.
Why?
Go ahead.
Rightoid memes. Just
So
based
whatever.
in builds.
In the past, right, you had situations where you had like large unions that were that it had excluded African Americans because obviously the people in those unions were racist and they didn't want African Americans in there.
Yeah.
And so while they're trying to build leftist solidarity to like maintain it, then you just had like minority communities ignore it because like, if they're not going to let us in, why would we stick up for them? And so they were scabbing and yeah.
I see what you
feel that
mean.
way,
I do believe that's a valid point. However, I don't think that this is necessarily like a binary type situation. There's a way to do this as a compromise.
Situation.
And I don't think that it's because essentially what is happening on the other hand is that you're just foregoing building a broad coalition for the inverse reason. And
I think the solution,
the effect is essentially the same. There is.
I think
no
the solution is to
coalition.
find ways to appeal to them without backing down on principled positions that you hold. Like you should never. I don't think you should ever like compromise your policy positions or what you are striving for as a leftist to in order to appeal to people. I think that
I'm not saying
killing Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
In Minecraft.
I'm not even saying you should like pretend to be a Nazbol to recruit them. I'm saying you should treat them like they're humans. That's like my thing. You shouldn't dehumanize your political enemies.
Sure.
Oh.
Like this is this. I really my main example for this is Daryl Davis. Like Daryl Davis doesn't meet up with like fucking the head of the KKK and go, yeah, actually, white power.
It would be so hilarious if he did though.
That would be funny.
He's like, let's have a beer, dude. Let's not talk about fucking politics. For like, maybe eventually we might talk a bit about politics, but let's first recognize the humanity in each other.
Sure.
That's like my main thing. Of course, if that came off, like I believe that, of course, I don't think you should like go. No, actually, we should do patriotic socialism. Like, no, that's fucking dumb. Don't do that. Yeah.
I think we call that differently over here.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think you were thinking that. I think you were more like saying we should stop focusing on like more progressive like social issues and focus more on economic issues.
We shouldn't like focus on bullshit culture war stuff, but I also think a lot of the progressive issues that are problems for marginalized communities are very much leftist social issues in the sense that they're not culture war bullshit. Like they're very legitimate concerns that really are. You need to consider if you are, Konsequenzen. How do I express this in English?
Consequences?
If you want to be consistent.
Yeah, if you want to be consistent with your leftist ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
But I think it's like when it comes to we need to like censor video games, like shit like that. I don't think that we should talk about it. It's like because it just mostly gets weaponized by liberals, like more female drone pilot shit, and obviously among the like proper left, it's that is like a meme. But I see this especially in like the not so extreme, more moderate left, where the main focus is not join unions, do strikes, but like we need a diversity officer so we can. This won't make sense to you because you don't speak German. We need to enforce gendered language at universities when you write papers, because otherwise. That's the main problem that we have, and not.
I gendered my bachelor paper to get my character count up.
And this is what I've heard from like most people. They're like, it's no, I love this. I can get my fucking word count up very easily by just
Yes.
making everything be bigger because it's in German. It's so fucking clunky to do that shit.
Ish.
It-
Sounds
this,
like a rough.
this is Kakalinsky had this example very recently. The whole Latinx thing. Like there was a long time in my life where Spanish was the language that I spoke best. So I learned it when I was like 2. So I do feel like it's kind of my mother language, one of them. But I didn't even speak English at all at the time. And this like no one who speaks Spanish thinks Latinx is like even remotely something that they should do. It's basically the perception is some American academics decided that this language that has been spoken for hundreds and thousands of years is wrong because it doesn't line up with the cultural sensibilities of American academics. And people like Spanish people speaking people in the rest of the world are like, no, fuck off. Stop being imperialist. Which is
And then America said, yes, we will stop.
Yeah. And
Well, I mean, the term, from what I understand, was made by like American like Hispanics.
Yeah, and like, but a small, tiny subset of academics who were Hispanics. But the absolute broad community of Hispanics has rejected this because it's essentially its ideology.
Ideology.
Well, it's a way to
American
make
Hispanics are still Americans. Like this is to the rest
sure,
of the
but
world. They're
I
still
mean,
Americans.
the idea behind it is just to make like gender neutral language because there are people who fall outside, the gender binary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it doesn't like it doesn't mean the same things. It doesn't work the same way. The same cultural connotations
second.
don't exist in the Spanish-speaking world as they do in the American, in like the culture of the
basically-
American coastal elites.
So basically, what you're saying, Berg, I'm sorry, I had to do it.
No, this is a great.
But
This
no.
is a very leftist conversation.
No,
I
yeah.
love this.
The thing is, if I understand,
We're not
what you're
killing each
saying
other
is
enough
that
for it to be a leftist
the
discussion.
USA is trying to impose cultural
The
imperialism.
USA isn't trying to impose
Again.
shit. It's like US like academics, US elites.
Well,
are
no,
doing that.
yes, it's U.S. academics, but it's still a U.S. culture thing
Yeah.
in a way because they're trying to push it as their own culture thing, and then they're probably going to be saying, "Hey, you need to conform to that too." Like as soon as they get that enforced within, the American sphere, they're going to go, "Hey, other countries that speak like the same language, you have to conform too."
Most of the
'Cause,
leftism that America
sexism.
exports to the world is culture wars bullshit.
Yeah, it's
I just realized actually on that topic from what Cody said. Like, what happens if the gendering crowd
sorry, I'm back.
in Germany gets caught up by the cultural imperialism and like talking in a way that's respectful to NBs enters the mix?
Yeah.
Like, what on earth will happen to German then?
I recently saw someone post like they themselves she is a woman, but she posted Mitarbeiter Sternchen in.
About herself?
Yes.
What?
She used this is the American, like the non-German speakers in the chat will straight up not understand why this is incredibly weird.
She used a form of the word that includes both the male and the female to refer to herself.
Yes, and it's not even, the thing is, like, this isn't like an organic.
As an additional bit of context, just you're supposed to use this form to like refer to the broad amount of people to whom something applies,
and I think
like
that
all of the workers, or something.
Something that I think pisses a lot of people off is the star thing in it.
Yeah,
because to make it work, it's not a letter. What is it doing in this word? This isn't a letter.
It is not.
Please
It is
only
not
put letters in
phonetically
words.
correct, Burger. That's the thing. It's not
It doesn't.
phonetically
It doesn't
correct.
represent anything phonetically. I mean, it has a little
Yeah,
bit.
phonetically you say both forms one after the other.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
To be fair, I have
for some people, it has come to represent like a glottal stop
What?
when they say MitarbeiterInnen.
Oh
It's
my
like the
god.
space that I feel like that
To be
is what
fair,
that
I have
style
no
now
room to
represents.
complain about phonetically correct sounding words because I'm fucking French.
Yeah. No,
You
but
are
it's not even
fucking
like it
French.
represents nothing. It's just a written thing. And I've like a lot of German speakers like what the fuck is this? And it happened to like appeal to American cultural sensibilities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like a lot of people who are not Americans are very pissed off at this. They're like, no, actually, we were fine. I've always said we should just use in
They
German. We should
changed the
just,
national anthem of Austria to conform with this.
yeah. I've always been a big advocate of just using the female form because it
Yeah.
includes both of them. We don't need the fucking star. Or we just like we did it in socialist Germany. We just use the male form to refer to both, or the female form to refer to both. I don't.
One of my professors hates that. He calls it the ostensibly generic masculine.
There's so many academic debates about whether the generic masculine even exists.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make sense grammatically. We're doing a grammar discussion about the German language in English when there's
Lefty
only like
meme.
3 German speakers in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked up like a little bit, but not like a lot of German. So
Yeah, it's
I understand what you're saying.
yeah.
I have nothing to add.
I used to be
the
good
broader
apparently.
point. The broader point, though, about this being not a minor issue that people shouldn't focus on, which I agree. Like, it's something that maybe like at some point we need to address, and like how we refer to like people who aren't gendered in gendered languages. But really, that should be something more about the people who speak those languages. I'm not going to take any stance on that. 'cause I
It
don't
was
speak those
this
languages.
is the thing that Karl Kalinske said when he was quoting some studies, some like poll, is that like 2% of Latino people actually use Latinx. 40% of Latino people find it offensive to use Latinx.
Okay.
So, and this
Like
is
offensive. Like
because it's essentially it is we the elite are saying this is you should speak the language differently because we need to
but
conform
I mean,
with
I
these
would,
sensibilities.
I would counter that with how many of those people in that polls think that non-binary people are valid? Because
I don't think that
Heckin'
really
valid, uwu.
matters in this context. The thing
that
that
100%
pisses them
matters
off-
in this context.
The thing that pisses them off is this is like basically white people deciding that the way
not.
that they speak their language is wrong because the white language isn't gendered either. And I
It's
actually
not white.
really
It's
understand
not white
that.
people determining this. I don't know why you keep saying that.
No, but it is.
I guess.
though.
I mean, I guess unless you consider Puerto Ricans white, like
No, it's not
Chris Reagan is very white.
that's true. I mean, but like it's Hispanic generally. Like
but Hispanics don't use it. That's the thing; they do not use it. Like 2% of them use it, and
American
those are probably like
Hispanics use it.
academics.
okay, sure, but like what? Okay.
And it
I don't
hasn't.
know.
Like,
I
it
don't.
hasn't-
I'm not Latin, so I can't answer these questions. But like, all I have to say is like, you have to have some sort of solution for referring to non-gendered people in a way that is
No, but
comfortable for
that's
them
the
as
thing.
well.
This has never been a problem until Americans
Just
brought
use,
it up.
the thing is, use pronouns.
What?
Why is that such? Why aren't pronouns supposed to denunciate like people's gender?
Yeah, but
in a way?
that's not like that is. I mean, you speak French, so you understand this.
Oui, je parle français. Là, le,
So,
les,
but
it's,
French
it's
has a
fucking
neutral
insane.
pronoun, right? French has a neutral
No.
pronoun.
No.
I mean, kind of.
I don't know.
No, not really.
Listen, I don't.
It's
It's
I'm not.
weird.
kind of
I'm not-
gender neutral.
I'm not Hispanic and I'm not German or anything like that. But like, to me, a lot of the time, it just kind of seems the same sort of shit where I hear people like complain about singular they. Like, I don't like. Fuck you. Like, just just use people's preferred pronouns. Like
No, that's not what I mean at all. The problem is that like this is pissing off just
The problem is that it's being imposed.
yeah. And it's not even I don't even care about like their reasons so much. And what I'm saying is this is ultimately such a minor thing that is also like it is kind of offensive to like go you need to like appeal to these sensibilities and change your language accordingly. And this is something that like all around the world people don't like America for this exact reason, because it's like it feels like you're trying to be the protagonists of the earth. And this is a purely emotional thing. This is not I don't think this is like a rational reasoned argument. I don't think it is worth alienating like this huge minority community, marginalized community.
It has a bit of a weird kind of white man's burden air to it.
Yeah.
why do you keep saying that whenever the people who proposed it were not white?
But
they
the
were
people
in
who
these
keep
communities.
proposing-
No,
It's not about white, it's
no,
about being
no.
American.
And they're Americans, yeah. It did look if you're
Technically.
Hispanic American, the rest of the world sees is American. That's the thing we don't because I mean obviously this is most of the world does not care about your ethnicity or like your race as much as people do in America. So when like a Hispanic American says something, yeah, they're Hispanic, but they're also American, and that's the thing that people care about more.
Okay.
Let's call it American man's burden instead, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's not really racialized in that way.
American person's burden.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what
guess
bothers people about it.
Okay, so
Because like let's
Then
put it like this,
I don't.
right?
I don't listen. To be clear, I don't really care like if they use any specific term. All
Yeah.
I'm saying is that there has to be a solution for non-binary people in these languages to be referred to. And
Okay, let me put
if you wanna
this
come up-
to you, Cody, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
like a I don't know, English explorer
Okay.
entering, I don't know, an Aztec society
Okay.
and then going, I don't care how you do it, but you need to create some sort of citizens' assembly instead of having chieftains. They are right. It is morally better
Yeah.
to be ruled by some sort of democratic thing. And it is morally better to have a way of expressing gender, that's inclusive to
No,
NBs.
hold on. No. I'm
But the
pushing back
thing
on
is
this.
that
Is
you're
bullshit.
coming
No.
in from the outside and telling them that they need to do this correct thing now.
Okay, couple things. One, it's being suggested as an alternative. Two, I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. I'm saying that this is what's happening. This is
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like I
go
don't.
ahead.
You
no,
keep
Cody,
you keep
that's
posturing
you,
this
though.
as like
That's
people being
you,
forced
though.
to
There
use
are
this.
other
Like,
people
huh?
there are other people who would force it on people.
I think maybe for context, I don't want to. This is the whole forcing thing. I don't think that's happening as much. I think the problem is that this has become a lot of white people now use Latinx. Like the Democratic Party, for instance, in like official documents uses Latinx,
Sure.
but Hispanic people don't. And that's even if the idea was originated by a Hispanic American, I think the way that it is being
And
used, I
even if
agree.
the
I do
idea
agree
is
with you
good.
that there should be some sort of solution
Yes.
to this.
Okay, yeah.
because
then
I
there's no
don't- like,
disagreement.
I'm
That's
not
literally the
happy.
only point I said.
I don't think it's like a particularly urgent thing, but I would like to see some solution for this for the Spanish language. But it's this solution just hasn't caught on, and
I
now
agree,
the people
and I
who are
don't-
pushing it are like rich white liberals.
There's literally no disagreement here. I
Yeah.
don't care which term is used. I don't care how it's done. I don't care who makes it up or why or where. As long as non-binary people feel like they can actually exist and use languages properly. And personally, I think it should be on the responsibility of people in those communities to be able to come up with alternatives, and then it be reinforced in that culturally. I'm not advocating for some fucking university people to come up with some bullshit and that like in like Massachusetts and then tell people in Guatemala to say it. I
Yeah.
don't know why that's even a conversation.
Because that's what happened, basically.
We're not saying that
I'm
you're
not saying this
it
is what
could.
you said, but
Yes,
that is
it
but
what
was a
this does
thing-
happen.
It was a thing that a Puerto Rican in America said to use, and people in America used it.
Yeah,
So
but,
if the American Hispanic community is using this term,
but it's not. That's the thing. It isn't. Like they're not doing that. Like even in America, it's like 2% of them, and 40% of them find the term offensive. So what I'm saying is, I don't think that it is pragmatic to use this term to refer to these people when they find it offensive.
right? I agree. I don't really care what term you use for it. If someone wants to use that term, they should use it, and if they don't, then I don't care.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the stream. We are like
What
10
the
minutes
fuck
over
was
time.
What
this?
was even
Yeah.
the point of that conversation?
No, the point of
exactly?
that conversation is that the way that it's currently used,
Fuck America.
it alienates.
No.
this
There was a
particular
wider
minority
point
community.
of that conversation that you were trying to make.
That was the point. That using this kind of language and continuing to insist on using this kind of language, which is what a lot of leftists do,
I'll stick with Tito there. Fuck America.
alienates this particular
Basically,
minority community
goddamn fucking
and therefore
leftist.
hinders the building of a broad coalition. Because this, once again, this is like elite academic language being exclusionary to actual regular, you might say, working class people of a minority community.
If I can just step in, basically what you're saying is you have a raging hard-on for fucking leftists.
What?
Leftism is cool and based.
True.
No, you have a raging fucking
Eat
hate
boner.
boner for leftists and academics.
I do
basically.
actually, yes. For anyone who is sanctimonious, I have a hate burner for. And
What
I
the fuck is
find that
sanctimonious?
a lot. I often find that a lot more left wingers are sanctimonious than right wingers, because sanctimonious, because right wingers is sometimes I feel like they know they're wrong.
No, I just
feel
don't know
they
what that
know
word
they're not
means.
right.
I just don't know what that word means. I'm sorry.
Oh, that
Sanctimonious means like holier than thou, like
Yeah.
I'm above you.
Yeah.
often
Ah.
It's usually in reference. It's traditionally it's used in
Selbstgerecht.
reference to like religious attitudes,
Yeah.
but it's also
Mhm.
being used. Which ironic because that usually whenever right wingers are sanctimonious, it is because of religion
yeah.
Basically, it's
or
I'm
because
just better than
racial
you.
supremacy or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that kind of shit. Anyway, this actually we have to end the stream. We're like almost a quarter of an hour at a time. So thank you
Yeah.
very much for watching, and see you around, cunts. Actually,
Bye.
because some friends of mine might be coming to stay here tonight, and